Hi, so today I'm going to give a run through of how Atlas can be used as a benchmarking tool to carry out analysis of financial service providers' social and financial performance. On Atlas, we currently host data for more than 3,500 financial service providers in 138 countries, which gives us just under 3.5 million data points that can be used for analysis. In terms of tools that are available to subscribers, the most flexible way to query our database is via the free search tool. This tool allows the database to be aggregated in many different ways, and I'll just give a run through on how this tool can be used to do so. So in terms of how the page is structured itself, the first thing to do is to select the indicators that you're interested in. On Atlas, we have more than 1,000 indicators, and so we have them available under different financial and social performance categories. And we can expand these and select multiple indicators by searching and selecting them. We'll see that they appear on the right-hand side here, and we can select up to 50 indicators in one search. We can also do a text search for indicators, which can often be more efficient considering the sheer volume of indicators that we have on the platform. Then we have filter options that we can use to make our selection. And so these are organized under several different categories. So first and foremost, we can select filters by geography, so by region, sub-region, and country. We can also select specific FSPs, specific financial service providers themselves. We can select the time horizon that we're interested in. We then can expand this option and view the other filter types that we have. So we can select data from certain sources by certain delivery models. We also have a portfolio filter, and this is where we can pre-select individual financial service providers that you might be invested in so that they can be monitored and tracked. We then have by charter type, regulatory status, the size of the institution, whether they're financially sustainable or not, whether they're a deposit-taking institution or not, the age of the institution, the lending methodology, and finally the reliability. For reliability, we have this ranked from 1 to 4, which is a internal methodology that we apply, in which 1 is the least reliable data and 4 is the most reliable data. We then have an optional benchmark below, so we can include this, and the search filters mirror the same search filters that we have on the selection. Once we've made a search, we can also save it as a bookmark. And what this allows us to do is then revisit the same search with just one click. And we can also then share this with other members in your team so that they can access the same bookmarks. So then we can go ahead and make a search. So here I've selected a range of financial performance indicators, things such as gross loan portfolio, total assets, equity to assets ratio, amongst other indicators. And then in terms of the selection and benchmark, I've selected a simple search which involves financial service providers in Uganda, Tanzania, and Madagascar. And as the benchmark, we have this benchmarked against Eastern Africa. And what we could do instead of searching by country, we could equally search by individual FSPs and view those against the region or against the country, as an example. So if we go ahead and make this search, it'll just take a few moments to load. And then in terms of the output, what we have below is a series of graphs. And each of these graphs follow the indicators that we've selected. And they also follow the same format. And so just to run you through the different elements of the graph and how you can interact with them. First of all, we have the related sustainable development goal in the top left-hand corner. Below, we have the definition of the indicator and how we calculate it. We have the source data listed below. And then we have the graph itself. And so here we have the selection in orange. So here we're looking at Uganda, Tanzania, and Madagascar. And when we hover over it, we can see a pop-up box that includes some of the key information. So this includes the number of financial service providers included in the search, the source of that data, the reliability scores of that data, and then the aggregated value. So in this case, 14.4%. And we have the same for the benchmark. Then what we can do, if we click the graph, we can cycle through the different group by options. And here we have the group by options that have the filters that we explored before, as well as different resolutions of time periods. So starting by year, we can look at it in this view. We can select the aggregation to either be the mean or the median. And what we can also do when viewing the data by year is control for the same organizations with data for all years. And what this means is, so at the moment we have 50 financial service providers in the 2018 benchmark and 79 in the 2019 benchmark. So we're not comparing the same samples across these time periods. What we can do is click this option, and this will allow us to control for those. So now we're looking at the same 11 across the time period. We can also view the data through a higher temporal resolution. So here we're looking at half year, by quarter, by month. We can view it by region. So in this search, we're looking at data only in Eastern Africa. So we just see the Sub-Saharan Africa region. But if we were viewing across multiple regions, we would be able to view those here. Same for sub-region. Again, we're just looking at Eastern Africa. And by country. Then we can view it by charter type, by regulatory status, by size of the institution, whether they're sustainable or not, whether they're deposit taking or not, the lending methodology, and then we return back to the initial graph, which is the total. In terms of how we can use this graph, we can download it, and this will download the graph as an SVG file, which you can then use in reports or however it's needed. Or we can scroll to the very bottom of the page, where here we can print the page, and this allows us to save all the graphs on the page as a PDF file, or we can export the data to Excel, which provides a flexible format. And in the Excel file, you get all of the source data that's in the indicator selected, broken down by each financial service provider by each time period that we have data available for. And so that file can then be used however it's needed as part of analysis outside of Atlas. So that brings us to the end of the free search tool. In case you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and we'll be more than happy to answer them.